Hello everybody, I am so pleased to be here in Munich. I'm so pleased to be with such a wonderful people. I would like to share with you some of my finding in the past 35, 40 years. I always say that I got things from you and I give back to you. I got things from the world and I give back to the world. Because one of our duty is to gather things, to gather knowledge and information and take with us when we leave this world to use for, as we call, spiritual evolution. And the other reason is just to give back to people so they can use for the same purpose, for the same reason. Well, I'm going to share with you, I think it's about time. We are living in 21st century. And I think each one of us need an independence and need our direct connection with God. In order to do this, we first of all, we need to know who we are. Second, we need to know what we are here for. And third is to know how we can harmony together, who we are and what we need to do. Let's go one by one. And at the end, after we talk about those 2 chapters in our existence, I would like to end up as a doctor, as a medical man, responsible of my duty to help people to improve and to achieve their best health. I'm talking about health. I'm talking about why we get sick. I'm going to try to develop what means disease, how the disease starts, and why the disease evolves, and what is the end up to any disease. What is the impairment which disease can cause to our quality of life, and how disease can shorten our life. Let's go one by one. I hope we have enough time. It's just a very large subject, each one of those 4. I try not to go too deep into it, and I try to be on surface that doesn't require a lot of time, but I like to be at the same time deep enough to help you to understand and to be able to pass on the knowledge that I want to. As you probably well know, I travel around the world as a medical man, so all my life I just dedicate looking for cause of disease. It took me about 35 years to finally find the supreme cause of disease, to understand what we get sick. So whatever I talk to you is a knowledge that I accomplish, which I gather as a doctor, as a person, as a health man who tries to localize why people get sick. It, as I told you, took me probably 30 years. And what is the best way to achieve the real healing? Because unfortunately, there is so much business selling this, selling that, in order to help us to improve our health or to achieve the healing, which really doesn't work, because it's very painful for me to realize that most of the people, they don't know who they are, and they don't know what they are here for. And they live, I would say, fake road, fake passage. not because they want, just because they are not informed. I think it's about time now in 21st century that we should, the technology got so unbelievable. People's intelligence has improved so much. People are much smarter. People not smarter anatomically, but since they have more access to the knowledge, they improve so much their quality of thinking. They improve so much their possibility of existence. It's amazing. I'm so impressed and so amazed, and I think that is my duty to try to put my help on helping people to improve their health. Let's start with the first step. I don't know how many of you, for sure very few people, knows that we are much more than what we can see in a mirror looking to ourselves. We can see our physical entity, right? It's a human body. We have those 2 legs, 2 arms. We have a body and we have a head. Of course, the head is the main part of our manifestation. Over there, besides that center of each organ, which controls the activity of each organ, and is our mind, which is our supreme part of our physical existence. Over there are 2 departments, 2 chambers. One is the chamber of information, the memory department. We call the aware memory department, because as I will tell you later, there is a 2 department, the memories department. One is a conscious memory department, one is a subconscious memory department. Now, so as a physical entity, as I said, over there inside the head, beside the center of each segment of our body, there is those 2 important chambers. One is that, as I said, that the memory department, and second is our mind, which where all the information are processed in order to take decision. As you know that every human being takes approximately 35,000 decisions a day, where some people who live intensively, it can go to 60, 70,000. So a mind is a constant machine, is a machine which constantly works, processing the information that we store, being extracted from the previous action, previous episode of living. So each thing that we do during the day, after we complete each living episode, each manifestations episode, we extract the information which we deposit in memories, aware memory department. It's important. Now, those information are the ones that are processed in order to take decision. So I complete here briefly, and anybody can understand our physical existence. Now, but the human body is a unit. It's unit where it gets together, unite together all the other elements which comprise the human being. Next one is the spirit. We all know and we talk so much about the spirit. The other one is the soul. Now the spirit, we all know that is that part of our existence, part of us, that higher ourself. That spirit sometimes in the past just leave the perfection, I would say, place, the place of God, the kingdom of God. Some different people express their things in different ways. But let's make it simple. I don't like to talk about religion, so my religion is the science. I'm a scientist. So I try to put together all the elements which make up our living unit. So the spirit sometimes in the past just leave that perfection world, perfection chamber, perfection place, and try to experiment the imperfection. In that travel, experimenting the imperfection is achieve, of course, the knowledge of imperfection, but at the same time, it just emmagazinate a lot of negative energy, imperfect energy, up to a point. At one point, said, it's enough. Now I want to return back to that kingdom of perfection where I belong to, where I live initially. So, in order to achieve this, in order to do this, it has to get rid of all this negative essence that accumulate, and then to replace this with positive information, positive essence, to help the spirit to go back where departure. And to accomplish these things, to achieve this passage of returning and climbing up where I come from, it needs one of the necessary school. It's this life. So the spirit incarnate at the beginning of a human being body. Now, how this happen? Actually, before describing how it happened, let me mention the other two elements. One is the soul. One is the plan of life, the destiny. You see how the things get together, how the things fall together. So when the spirit incarnate, take over the human body, it needs to create a plan. See, we all, in order to do something, we have to plan it out. So the spirit wants to arrange this space, as we call life, which is a school and which is a practice. So need to create this segment of living in order to achieve those two things. One, to get rid of the negative essence, or some people call bad karma, and to create whatever necessary living segments through which to get back some of the positive essence or positive energy that lost during declining, during the time that tried to experiment and experience the imperfection. So at that moment, when the spirit take over that newborn body, according some cultures, according some different countries' culture, who describe that, comes with the two other spirits, accompanied by two other spirit helper, one being responsible to create a living episode, to create the situation of manifestation in order to get rid of the bad essence, bad energy. And the other spirit, the other company spirit, is responsible to create a life segments through which achieve and extract a positive essence or positive information that actually are being used at the end of our life in order to ensure that spiritual evolution. Okay, so that is the plan of life. It's some people call destiny. It's the same thing. Now, it's science. Now try to find out where this chip is planted. Where exists this chip? Some people say it's in myocard. Some people think that it might be in hypothalamus. I didn't arrive to a defined conclusion. Where is it? I know very well that is, because it's not possible otherwise. And there is another element here, which we call soul. A lot of people confuse soul and spirit is the same thing. No, there is two different entities. But it's very true that the soul is that part of the spirit which exists in the material life. The duty of the soul is to supervise if the plan of life is properly followed, it's properly consumed, and try to help the mind and help that person to really force it if it's necessary, if just to really keep up with using the life for the purpose of achieving the best, in order to achieving the best relation of the plan of life, to try to follow and to try to consume this plan of life in order to again achieve as much as possible positive essence. Those at the end of life are going to be controlled, are going to be counted. So that are the ones that are used for the spiritual evolving. If the spirit goes up towards where it wants to go, to achieve and to get as much as possible to the final destination. Now, those information I just told you before, there is the information during our life, being positive or being negative, are stored once in our aware memory department and are used for us in order to take decision. But at the same time, those information are stored in a subconscious memory department, there where exists the soul, there where exists the plan of life, and those information at the end of life are going to be monitored, are going to be controlled by the spirit, are going to be counted and checked if they really are positive enough to be useful for the spirit to evolve. Sometimes they bring more negativity, and the spirit has to reincarnate and to go back to the same school of life in order to start again the plan of life, to repeat it in order to achieve what initially wanted to achieve. Okay, so we see here, we just talked about those, what mean the unit of the living unit, human unit. Well, living unit, because human unit is that element, is a living individual, right? Like what we see, looking to each other. So on the other side is our spirit. In the middle between those two are the other two elements, which is the plan of life or destiny and the soul. Now, as you notice that the destiny, the plan of life is right in between those two units. And the soul, it's also between those two elements, right? Is the one that supervises. It's kind of the governor of life. Our life governor is the one that is responsible if whatever happened, it happened the right way. That's why our life has to, we have to live our life under the sign of freedom. Freedom referee. So any information that we extract, whether it's a positive or negative, good or not good, it has to be not controlled by anybody. It has to be, otherwise, if it's force or control, that is not honest, is not the right. I forgot to tell you that the plan of life has to be consumed under honesty. Our brain when our brain is at the beginning of life, it's programmed to live under law of God, which is honesty. I'm going to tell you in a few minutes later that how and when the conflict between those two entities starts and why it starts. So again, our brain is programmed to live honestly. If we don't live honest life, then we get into the conflict between those two entities at the moment to consume the plan of life or to destiny. It's going to start a conflict, which is a very, very damaging conflict for both, for the quality of our life and the quality of our health. And I'm going to explain to you how and what happened. So, my dear friends, let me make it a small resume. We just spoke about who and what are, who we are, who are the human being, and second is what is the duty that we are here. So life is a segment, is a school, is a school with double role, which one is to eliminate any negativity that we got for the previous existence or the spirit got for the previous existence, and to achieve, to accomplish, to gather as much as possible through our life, through our manifestation, as much as possible and as many as possible, positive information and positive energy and positive essence, which are actually the one that offer us, the one that are responsible for the good life quality. The same information that are stored in the memories department and the subconscious memory department, those are responsible, that are used actually at the end of our life for the spirits, if how much can go up, how quickly can get closer to the final destination, which we said actually the place that initially left, which is the kingdom of the perfection. Okay, now I'm going to go I try to keep a little bit on the surface, not to go too deep, as it will take tremendous long time, and I stay away to use that very academic terminology, so this way anybody and everybody can understand. Now, let's put it this way. We have to walk on that street which was designed at the beginning of our life. It's nicely paved, this street. So our life has to go in following certain episodes. In each episode of living, we have to, again, get rid of the negative essence and some other episodes to achieve, to accomplish, to get new positive essence, which are the most needed. For some reason, and the game, this plan of life, it's built up, is constructed based on that God law we call, or divine law, or any other terminology we can use, which we call honesty. So in order to stay on this road, we have to be honest. Once we are dishonest on taking certain decision, when we are dishonest on doing the things different way than we're supposed to do, then right away we step out of this road. So stepping out of the road, life starts getting complicated because our brain is not prepared, is not programmed to walk different way. At the beginning of life, when the plan of life was designed, when this program was designed, the brain was programmed to think, to live based on this plan of life. So the brain knows to function our mind is programmed to function accordingly this plan of life, but is designed to function honestly. Once we are dishonest, right away we throw ourselves off this road and we go on unknown road, and we go on very accidental road. I just try to make some kind of comparison, right? Now, at that moment, life is not smooth anymore. Life is complicated. Life is full of unexpectedness. And brain doesn't know how to handle this. It has to create on the spot, has to create a new mechanism in order to handle the off-road passage. It's very difficult for the brain because then it has to build up some new vascularization capillary, new veins, new artery. Now, why new veins and new artery? Because the brain, in order to work something else, it needs more energy. Now, the energy it takes out of nutrients which are brought to our brain by the arterial sanguine flow. Now, as metabolic activity in the brain, it results more toxins because there is more work, there are more nutrients processed. So the amount of the toxin increases. So it needs some extra capillary. Now the capillary that are already there, being programmed to function on the created road, created passage to think, are not enough. So the brain needs to create some new one, which is difficult. If you use the initial one, the already created one, they are not able to really keep up with the flow of toxins to be eliminated. So therefore, some of the toxin has to be eliminated until the time comes to be eliminated, stay within the brain and create the toxicity, creating high toxicity, so the brain get intoxicated. So with the brain get intoxicated, some of these functions start getting deteriorated, start diminishing. So you know how called this one? This is called stress. This is the stress that we are complaining. Now some people think that, well, stress is because someone stressed me, stress is because I'm working too much, and so. No, stress is purely come from that conflict between those two entities. And who agree for that stress? The soul. Soul just is the one going, let stress happen, so people can be aware of the fact that something goes wrong, so we have to look into what we do wrong. Okay, so when the brain gets stressed due to excessive toxins that are not eliminated in time, excessive effort that the brain makes in order to be able to keep up the pace of off-road passage. Because if you follow the destiny, it's easy. It's already pre-programmed road, pre-programmed activity which goes with the pre-programmed brain function. It's easy to handle, it's easy to do. It's easy for the brain to really function. Now when you have to really do something else different, imagine like you are working certain years in one job and suddenly you change the job and go new job, it's much harder, it's much more difficult. So as a result of change, new things, you have to work harder. Or imagine for the brain that goes off where it's supposed to be and going a new passage. It takes very hard work, and we have a chance to look into our thinking and our living, what we do wrong, and we decide because this is a signal, and we decide that whether we have to go to look for our initial passage. Now, let's talk about the stress for a couple of words, just briefly. When the brain gets tense, as we call stress. Now, over there within in the cranial, within head, inside our cranium, over there, the brain is made up, besides those two chambers, memories department and our mind, our thinking activity machine. There is a large number of centers. Each one controls the activity of segment of the body, of heart, of liver, of stomach, of muscles, spine, etc., etc. Now, if we have an accident at our spine, we pull the muscles, we affect the disc, or we have some weakness with our myocard, with our heart, right? Or some issue with our diaphragm, being post-traumatic as a result of some accident, or some abnormality in our body due to hereditary or congenitally reason. One of our parents, it has some anatomical abnormality, and that pass to boy or girl, to son or daughter. So those create, that's what we call some vulnerable area, predisposed area. When the brain gets stressed, gets tense, again, as we call stress, it's affected not only that thinking machine, our mind, but the tension in the toxic, high toxic level in the brain affect the center which control all the center which control, or some partial, some part of those centers which control the activity within our body, throughout the body. And if there is any area which is vulnerable, which is affected by some anatomic abnormality, that gets tense. The whole body is getting tense. The whole neuromuscular system is getting tense. So, but after the stress crisis goes away, the body relaxes, except the area which was vulnerable. So that area remains tense, and the excessive tension in that area, it just creates more lesion, amplifies the abnormality. The lesion, the local lesion in that region, let's say we have a pulled muscles on the back. So when that muscles which was pulled, when it's getting tense during the stress episode, that injury over there increases. So if that stress gets repeated, the lesion over there, the trauma get increased more and more and more and more. Example, let's say we have some small gastritis, some inflammation of inside the stomach. Because whether we smoke on empty stomach, the nicotine creates some irritation, or we drink coffee on empty stomach, or various reasons. And the stomach gets irritated and gets slightly inflamed. Now, when we get stress, when our brain getting tense for a reason that's not supposed to be, because we use the brain in a wrong way. We use our mind on doing the wrong things, not following the passage of plan of life. Or if follow the passage of plan of life, doesn't follow the proper way. See, it's important two things. One, to consume our destiny, and second, how we do that. It's just as bad. If we walk on the road, but we try to fulfill that destiny road, that plan of life road, by going off that sign, doing dishonest, is just as bad. It creates just as amount of tension, amount of stress. Now going down to the stomach, we have this gastritis, we have this irritation of the stomach. And that was a minor things, just again eating wrong or drinking wrong and treating the stomach through our life in the wrong way. Now, when that stress comes and tense up the diaphragm, tense up the muscles of the stomach, that irritation increases. And that if that episode of stress getting repeated today, tomorrow, after tomorrow, so that irritation is going to be transformed into the ulcer. But we don't stop getting stressed. We don't stop living wrong way. We don't stop doing wrong things. So the stress, it's a game, is being repeated tomorrow, after tomorrow, next week, next month. So eventually that place, we take some anti-acid, but it's not enough. Yes, we do some diet. Yes, it's good, but it's still not enough. Because what starts being a major problem on the stomach is the lesion caused by tension, which is a result of stress. So that ulcer become cancer. And we all know that what means cancer. Now, I'm going to be a little bit, I don't know if I call rough, unpleasant on what I think, of the result of what I think in regard to cancer. Now, once we have cancer, we have two choices. One, doing nothing and keep getting stressed, and that develop those cells which are affected by cancer, those multiply by changing their function. Actually, they don't have the proper function, and that grow as a tumors much faster than the regular cells, and multiply as a mutation, and increases and invade the surrounding organs, and people die for that cancer. Now, but we have choice. At that moment, we can see why we develop this cancer. Well, because we are doing wrong, we are thinking wrong, we are not consuming, not fulfilling our plan of life. Maybe we did fulfill, but we did the wrong way, by lying, by cheating, by being controlled by our vanity. Vanity is the greatest enemy of the body. Actually, that the difficult character, difficult personality is one of the main stress, main enemy of our health. One of the main stress producer. So if we look inside our thinking, our body, and we try to be a game, the only way to see what we do wrong is to be very honest with ourselves. If you are honest with yourself, you see what you do wrong, what you think wrong, and you change. You change your way to live. You change your way to consume, to live your life. You change your way to look for your plan of life, for your destiny, which is very easy to find. To do what you like to do. That is the way find your plan of life. And to do what you like to do without letting be controlled by any material weaknesses. Well, I like to be a doctor, but you know what? To help people, that is the best way. That is the good way. You follow your passage. Well, but I like to be a doctor because he's well paid. No, that's wrong. So then you are not doing what you like because you are controlled and you are obeyed to money. And people do things not for themselves, for the money, which actually is supposed to be a simple tool. But people make out of that tool, they make goal in life. They make value. Money are not value, just simple tool. People get addicted of that. So then, even though you're in your plan of life to be doctor or professor, but you don't do it because you really feel fulfilled, feel useful, feel helpful, feel needed, which is an unbelievable medicine for brain relaxing. You do it because over there, whether you make money or over there you just feel that you get more power, you control others, which is just as wrong. So at that moment, its stress starts being produced, because even though you follow your destiny, but you are not using honesty, you are not using God tool. So then you go off the road by doing the wrong way. So then it produces stress. So again, let me go back. Our soul give us a chance. Listen, you want to go ahead producing stress and bringing to yourself bad karma, bad information, bad life quality, or you just go there, look what you do wrong or how you do wrong, and it's corrected, and the body recover. That you heard a lot of cases that is a miracle cancer healing. That's possible. It's not a miracle, it's a science. Whatever I tell you now, I tell you from the scientific point of view, scientific perspective. It's not it's not inspired from any kind of religion. It's just now the science is able to measure the brain just to see what happens with people who lies, or people who tell the truth, what happens with people who follow their destiny. It's very simple, or just goes off the road, because the waves in the brain that are measured, well, science, it doesn't explain yet everything, but explain a lot, and in the near future it's going to explain more and more and more and more. There I'm thinking, there is my thing, that my duty is to teach people how to heal themselves, how to feel their problems, how to feel the problem, how to feel the problem, and how to address to their health problem. Because unfortunately, is that in the world, is that attachment of people is just, everybody is attached of making money. And there is many people that come to sell you this, sell you that, because you heal. You try this, try that, and nothing happen. The only way they make money, right? Some of them, they make money just knowing there is a lie over there. Some of them, they just make the money just being ignorant. They don't know what they're doing. But we, every one of us, should know that why we get sick, why our body is getting affected by disease, which are increasing. As I said, that when any organ gets sick up to moment, and we don't stop thinking wrong, or doing wrong, or going away from our destiny, so it's the cancer pop in, the disease evolve, because initially the first things, any disease is caused by some anatomo-physiological disturbance. Again, due to some small accident, is a result, it's called post-traumatic result, or some hereditary, congenitally, again, anatomo-physiological disturbance. So, but everything else, we create. We create our disease, and we can be our healer. That is not possible otherwise. Of course, the medical science, medical establishment, it helps you, but it never can achieve the healing. It helps you to cope with the disease easier. It helps you to make life more bearable, but never, as you probably all know, never help you to achieve the healing, because we create the disease, and only us can eliminate. And to eliminate disease is just to really go inside our mind, our head, and to really find what we do wrong, what we think wrong, what we build up, how we create that stress, that brain tension, which affect the entire body, and that tension, it just creates damages, amplifies the damage where was predisposition. I'm going to try to explain to you short in a couple of words how the mind works. As I said before, that at the beginning of our life, the word created passage, living passage, which are designed to accomplish two different things. One, to eliminate that negativity, negative essence, or negative information that we got for the past existence, and to create passages that we can, after each passage of living, we extract an information which help us to take decision throughout our life. You see, after each manifestation, after each episode of living, we extract an information. That information is deposited in our memories department, and is each time, whenever we think, and to be able to create a decision being responsible of our living life episodes. Now, those decisions are extracted after the mind processes the information. Let's see, we have a situation today that you saw that it's better to lie something. Because if you lie a little bit, then you accomplish better. You gain something now, which is wrong. Whatever you gain today, you're going to lose much, much more later. If we don't lie, of course, you don't gain anything today. But your life later will be much easier, much lighter, causing much less stress. And I will explain to you how. So let's presuming that we were in a situation that we needed to lie in order not to make somebody upset or not to make ourselves upset. So we did a little episode of living with a base of some lie. Now the information extracted from here, from this living episode, we deposit in the memory department. Now when the mind needs an information in order to create a similar situation like the one we live, to create in the future, use this information, but this information is wrong, is based on lying. So decision taken by our mind, that decision is based on lying. So it's a wrong decision. So that wrong decision is going to be used for creating a living episode, a living moment, a living part of our life. So it's going to come wrong. When it comes wrong, we suffer for that. We get upset because it was not honest, because we move away from honesty. So again, as I just said before, when our mind trying to execute, trying to consume a plan of life and using a lie or using dishonesty, right away cause stress through our living. It's a circle, you see? We just do something wrong, automatically, without our participation, the mind extracts an information. Exactly like when you are very young, you see a fire, you touch the fire and burn. And right away, from here, from this living episode, the kid extracts information. Whenever he see that fire, is going to know that that will burn, that will hurt. So right away, take the hand away or try to avoid touching fire. So all our life, it works this way. Anything that we go through, we just extracted information. So that being used by our mind to take the decision later through our life in order to really create living episode. If the things are right, so out of each episode we extract positive information. But if we do something wrong, so the information that extracted is going to be loaded with a bad energy, with a wrong information, and our mind uses that information and takes wrong or bad decision. Now the decision is the one that's based on that one. We just create a living episode. That living episode is wrong. So we close the circle. Right away, we just suffer, we get upset, we get unhappy, and we think, oh, I had a bad luck. No, we had a bad living episode, which create bad information, which create bad decision, which create bad quality of living and the quality of life. So this is a closing circle. Now, there is one more thing here where we extract the information and where we use the decision. Now, more and more people are governed by a difficult character or difficult personality. So, I give you the most simple example. Some people are very vanitos. They are just, very big ego. They want to be somebody else than they are designed to be. They want to be more than they are. Now, if they want to be more than they are, so that means they cannot fulfill their plan of life, right? Because they are not the way they decide and designed to be at the beginning of life in order to achieve those two elements, right? To get rid of the bad energy and to achieve and to extract and to load good energy, bad information, good information. That word energy is so much used, but I think it's too much. So I use more that bad information and good information, or bad essence or good essence, right? So as you see that another element is that character or the personality. Some people are governed by big ego. The big ego, that high and big ego and vanity, it moves people in a different place. They get them somebody else, and being somebody else, they automatically do something else. Now, this big ego, it does two bad things. When we extract an information from a living moment, living episode, the information before being stored in our memories department, it goes through that chamber, filter, controlled chamber. Vanity, it just disturb the quality of the information, and that information is going to be mutilated, is going to be deformed, and is going to be stored in a memory department, not the one that actually was different than normally was, is like deformed by weakness of the character. Now the same one is the same high ego is going to deform the decision when we just take certain decision using the information. Now, before the decision is going to be put in practice in order to create the living moment, the episode of living, that decision is going to be again deformed by this vanity, by this high ego. That's again our personality is that second tremendous enemy of our health, stress producing, because those difficult character, the difficult personality, not respecting the honesty, right? They just pull us without us realizing. They pull us out of the road of plan of life, of destiny. I just told you right few couple minutes ago that the two elements which create stress, talking about plan of life, is one stepping out of plan of life, and another one following the plan of life, but by using not honesty. Now our difficult character, our difficulty in our personality are based on dishonesty. See, people are jealous. That is dishonest. You are not supposed to be jealous because each one does whatever can. People are jealous. Some people are greedy. They want more than they need. They want something else than they need. So all those elements, all those components of a bad personality or bad character, it just pull us from fulfilling our plan of life, fulfilling our destiny. So these are stress producing. So the more stress we produce, the more sick we get. I'm going to repeat to make sure you understood. Initially, the base of our sickness, it's very simple. A little anatomical abnormality caused by as a result of some post-traumatic situation, hereditary or congenitally, again, anatomical abnormality. And those are creating a predisposition. Doesn't mean that we should get sick. It means there is a little wrong there, which doesn't impair our life quality. But on those small weaknesses, those small predisposition, we build up the stress build up tremendous disease, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the only way to really regress those diseases and eventually to eliminate is to see how and what we do wrong in relation with our plan of life, in relation of respecting the God of law of God, the honesty. You see, of course, from here derive many other things. You see, we see people having that relation in a community. I think everybody should know this because, see, each one of us has a different plan of life to fulfill. So, of course, we behave and we have our life quality in order to fulfill this plan of life. And if we just do it honestly, we never can create any kind of disturbance in their relation, in a community relation. Of course, if you know that this is your road that you have to follow, and you know that your neighbor, anybody else, they have their own road to follow, because there is not two people who has the same destiny, not way, never. So that's, you know that you have to fulfill your destiny, so you have to know that somebody else around you has to fulfill your destiny. So you should not interfere. Let them live their way. If you try to control them, then you stop them from, living, from fulfilling their destiny. You see, I used to live in a communist country. within that community, in that regime, people were forced to live and to do whatever they were told to do, to live the way they were told to live. So they were not able to fulfill their destiny. They were not able to really follow their plan of life, because some people that govern, they just create certain rules to control these people to do what they thought. Most of them, they were not educated properly. So they didn't understand this process. Even today, I think there is many places where dictatorship is in fashion. So by dictating to somebody else how and what to do, because you like and you think that way, it has to be done extremely very cautious. Give people freedom to really fulfill their destiny, because the proper way to fulfill your destiny has to be under free referee. If he's forced to do certain ways, then mean you force people to do something else than they're supposed to do. It's very simple. Some of those communist countries, they build up industries, they build up things, but forcing people to do other ways that they're supposed to do. And once this system got interrupted, everything collapsed, because everything was built under pressure by forcing those people to go off their road in order to participate here. Yeah, you could have done that by not forcing people, trying to get them convinced that this gives them the freedom for them to do this by enthusiastic ways. So once the regime stopped, whatever was built through this time, everything collapsed. Now, of course, since during that regime, so there is intellectuality hasn't developed as much and supposed to go, because they were controlled, they were forced to think certain ways. So at the end of the regime come up only people that thought that money or everything, because they didn't have them enough. So everybody got corrupted, everybody got wrongdoing, and of course it's terrible now. But one thing everybody should know, to respect each other, to give them the space that they can fulfill their destiny, and of course as long as they do it honestly. When they do dishonestly, they do wrong with their body, their life is going to go wrong, they're creating problems and probably affecting the society. Yes, at that time the society to stop them, but at least they should be given the freedom in order to fulfill their destiny, and as best as possible to follow the honest, the God law, the honesty. Well, there is a lot to talk about this. About the subject that we choose today. So who we are, we covered up, and what is life, what we are here for, and how we create disease. How can we create extreme disease? You see, I was just reading a couple of weeks ago. The depression, it got the third health disturbance, got the third disease that affects people throughout the world. One is, of course, heart disease. Second is a cancer, and third was diabetes. But now came up much stronger, and diabetes was pushed in the fourth place, and the third, it came depression. It's amazing. We create the depression, and of course there is a lot of drugs that are taken which cause more biochemical disturbance within a brain. Yes, again, drugs, they have their good part, because taking drugs is better than taking nothing. Okay, of course, but it's not the best way to really achieve health. It's not the best way to refer to health. But the doctors, they just advise this because they don't know anything else. Unfortunately, medical school goes in the wrong way. So limited everything as the functional part of the body, which is biochemistry, the biomechanics, which is completely neglected. So, of course, the drugs, they have a tremendous side effect. Of course, the drugs doesn't heal the body, no, but they try to help people to cope with the problem, try to help people to survive. Now, hopefully, people like me or people like me throughout the world try to teach people why they get sick and how is the best way to recover their health and to eliminate disease. So I think that is the best way, and actually the only way. We create disease to ourselves, we create disease to our society, we create disease to the world. So if you learn how to eliminate your own disease and to improve your own health, actually by using the same idea and same formula, we can eliminate the disease of the society and the disease of the world, preserving and respecting and preserving our house, which is the planet. Let's go back to that, I was talking the depression, that neurodepression. So depression gets more and more and more and more frequent, and more people are suffering for that depression. Yes, I use drugs, which sometimes create new problems, but at least those drugs might help a little bit people. You know, it's so simple to prevent and to eliminate depression. Our brain gets stressed by doing things wrong, or maybe not doing what are supposed to do. See, there is two things there. We don't do what we're supposed to do. We don't go on the road that we already, paved on the beginning of life. And we don't do the way we're supposed to do. We break and we ignore that law of honesty, the law of God. Now, some people do nothing. They don't do anything what they're supposed to do. Even they don't do probably wrong things. Since doing nothing, then you don't do wrong. But then you start the conflict with yourself. See, you start the conflict between our spiritual existence and our material manifestation. I'm supposed to do this, but I don't do. So here you start the conflict. The same conflict as I just mentioned before, conflict of doing the right way and doing the wrong way. It's also start conflict. Or doing what we're supposed to do and do something else. A lot of people are dominated by greed. In order to do what they're supposed to do, their greed guide them to do something else because they make better money, or they make, their difficulties on their personality push them on the wrong way, on the wrong road. So that is also stress-creating situation. But go here to depression. Now, this depression it's manifesting just in a couple of superficial words. The brain gets very tense. The brain chemistry, brain function, it's affected, and a lot of drugs are referred in order to relax the brain. Now, what is the best drug which really helps the brain to relax and eventually to recover? It's so simple.
No. Laughing.
No. Yeah, but what caused the laughing? Before laughing.
Joy. Love.
Well, before love. You are very close. So, when you do things, just being guided to do what you like to do. And after you accomplish that doing things, you just see that you did a wonderful creation. Of course, if you are not really controlled by being paid certain things by what you create. If you create something and you expect to be rewarded with the material things, then over there is a little danger that instead of being pleased what you did, you are unhappy because you are not properly paid. No, but if you accomplish something, what you like to do, after you accomplish the things, you feel fulfilled. You feel that you feel pleased. You feel that you achieve a wonderful thing. That gives inside the brain a certain feeling, certain sensation, which relaxes the brain. Now, when you just help someone without asking anything, just help, and you feel that your help achieve good on that person's life, on anybody's life, then you feel that your help create wonderful things, and you feel that you are needed. You feel that the help that you did, you feel that you are useful, you are helpful. This gives in our brain a very special feeling, very special essence, very special sensation, which actually that is a best drop from our brain to relax the brain and just to remove that disease, that depression. As long as you feel helpful, as long as you feel that you are needed, as long as you feel that you are necessary, that your life, it make good things. When you feel that your life is just is consumed by achieving good things without asking, it's a danger to ask things in exchange, because then you may not be satisfied, and then your wonderful help is going to be, the feeling is going to be ruined by the fact that you are unhappy, you are not proper rewarded. But my dear friends, that's the feeling that you get, that you extract after you did something good and you are realize that what a wonderful thing you are able to do. Then you feel that is your value, and you don't consume your life doing nothing. You make sense. You make your life, your existence is rewarded by somebody else or by you. You feel that you are needed, you are useful, you are helpful, you are valuable, you create a value. That is give you satisfaction. All those, it give you some special feeling in the brain, special chemical reaction within the brain, inside the brain, and that create relaxing in the brain. So that remove or eliminate the stress, completely stress, and then make you laugh. Of course, you can laugh because you are pleased. And you know what? That is create the passage, the pavement for being happy. And you know, further down, then you can love. In order to love anybody else, you have to love yourself. To love yourself, you have to feel that you deserve that. You have value. What is your value? You are achieving, you are creating things, just creating things without being paid, without being paid off, without being judged by any kind of material tool. So once you be able to really load yourself, anything that you do, try to detach of being paid or being judged by material things. Anything that you create and you do and you achieve, if it's rewarded with that feeling, with that essence of feeling that you are helpful, that you are useful, that you are needed, that give you that special energy inside your brain, which make you happy. This is the real happiness. Then you are ready to love as well yourself, to love as well what you do, and to love anybody. So that is unconditional love. We call divine love, because it's not conditioned. That thinks, oh, I love that boy because he got me good shoes, the lady said. Or the man, oh, I love that girl because he has a very beautiful blonde hair. Now that is not love. That is a plain and simple, temporary and momentary pleasure. Now that pleasure is rewarded or followed up with some unpleasure. But whatever I just described before is a pleasure, endless pleasure, which cannot never disappear. If sometimes you are a little down for maybe things that wrong information or impressed by something, if we think that pleasure that was given by the fact that you were helpful, you help someone to walk, and then you go away in your way and just look down, look back, that people walk good because you are helped. Is your satisfaction, is your positive energy. So see, that's good doing without being conditioned by anything material is the best medicine, which can heal even cancer. If you just are loaded and busy of doing good things, you don't give chance to the stress to really affect the brain or some anatomical part which affected by a disease. You don't give chance, and just do good things, do wonderful things, be pleased, and again be happy. And then the brain relaxes, the whole body relaxing or relaxed, and over there where is a problem. When the body relaxes, that part of the body, that segment which was sick, start recovering, because there is nothing to create pressure. There is no distress to create tension. So when the body is not tense, it starts going back to normal, because before body was sick, was normal. After the body gets sick, due to 90% due to the stress. When the body got sick and the stress maintaining constant tension on that area where the segment is sick, the disease grows and grows and grows. When you stop the stress, you stop the tension, the local tension where disease is, the body start reversing process, start recovering, regenerating, start healing, start going back where I was before. It's true, and it's very, very real. I've been seeing maybe hundreds of cases like that. People who had cancer, and I couldn't help them. Even though in New York, in place that I work, I'm very successful. So I'm treating all those big stars and big, people for the big money society. It really makes no difference. It's a big money or small money or no money. Half of my patients I treat for free. Of course, that people with the big money, they pay big fees. So I kind of help each other without, yes, I'm trying. But anyway, so through my experience, I try to help sometimes people. And I was very successful in helping them temporarily. I developed that throughout my profession. I developed that theory relation between cause and effect. For 20 years, I thought, doing research, I found that anatomic abnormality, and I thought, boom, I got it. This is the way. I treat people, they got much better. They got well, I eliminated completely the symptoms. But I thought if I didn't maintain, it just came back. But it's not the way that the doctor should keep maintaining the people, because they create the disease. Why? Yes, it's good to help them, but I think it's much better. They create the disease, they should be part of the healing process, because the doctor can go so far. But later on, I was looking, I felt that, just finding the anatomic abnormality is not enough for real healing. Is that decreasing the symptoms, improving the anatomy, yes, but once the patient is not really under constant help, the disease came back. And I realized actually the main participant of creating disease is inside the head. That's there. The inside the head creates stress, which tense the brain, tense up the body, and make disease bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And our soul, when see that people don't stop creating stress and tension, disconnect the life, say, listen, you are just doing worse and worse. Let's stop it here, because you don't help your spirit to evolve. You help your spirit to involve. Instead of helping to go up, you just go down. Why? Because in order for us creating stress, we do wrongdoing. We live wrong. We hurt others, or we hurt ourselves. It's the same thing if you do bad to others, or if you do bad to yourself. The stress is the same thing. The mistake is the same one. The sin, through using different language, is the same one. I keep the word mistake or wrong thinking and wrongdoing at one point. Because wrong thinking, as I said, wrongdoing, as I said, is just the one that creates wrong living episode, supplies us with a bad quality information. Information are processed by our mind to create, and that create wrong decision. The wrong decision is the one that create wrong life episode or long living episode. And again, the cycle, just is like that. Doing wrong, create wrong, paying for wrong, doing wrong, create wrong, and just doing wrong. So we have to break this cycle. Everything starts within a brain, and simple. Is this conflict which starts around our plan of life, not doing what we're supposed to do, or not doing the way we're supposed to do. So that is the way, and finally, that is the way that we get ourselves sick. That is the way that get the society sick. That is the way that our entire world goes in the wrong way. As you notice, is just monomania, as I call, is people get attached, get addicted, just making money and forgetting about they have to fulfill their destiny, forgetting about they have to respect the law of God, the honesty. So see, this is the wrong road. Not only that the person goes, but the entire society goes. And I really believe very much that if we learn who we are and what we're here for, that we can improve the quality, the personal quality, society quality, life quality, and the entire world quality. You know, I just create that, I would say the dicton. Do good for others while you do good for yourself. Do good for yourself while you do good for others. When you do good for others, you are pleased and you are happy. that you are pleased and you are satisfied with what you did for others, then make good for you, good feeling to yourself. When you do good for yourself, you really learn how to you learn who you are and what is your duties. Then other people learn from you, follow you, or you teach them. You do good for you while you do good for others, because if you improve yourself, automatically the society get improved also. Well, not one person just improve 1,000, but few people will improve 1,000 because they can teach others also. Or you do good for others without hurting you. Again, don't try to really doing wrong things for yourself only to do good for others is wrong. Or by doing good for yourself, letting yourself to be guided by hunger, by addiction of greed or something, try to do good for yourself, but that will hurt people from around us. You cheat other one just to make it better for you. Again, this is bad. So I create that one, help yourself without hurting other, or do good for yourself while you do good for other, or help other while you help yourself, or help other without hurting yourself. I think that if we look deep into those, we just can really improve our life quality. I have one more thing to tell you before I'm going to wrap it up. You see, a lot of people just feel that the head is heavy, feel guilty, feel that are compressed or pressed by something wrong or bad they did in our past. There is exaggerating things that, past life, and there is, but we live now. We live now, and our destiny starts at the beginning of this life and ends at the end of this life. At the next episode of a spiritual manifestation, it has a different plan of living, of going on. So there is not connection between each other. The only connection is that the bad energy from the previous spiritual existence has to be corrected here. And also here, the good information that we accomplish, we extract from living, are the ones that are responsible for our future, for the spiritual future existence, evolution, evolve, and so on. Now, you see, one thing what I want you to just try to be helpful to you guys is that due to our vanity, or due to our wrong thinking or wrongdoing, we hurt somebody or we hurt ourselves. And we get upset with that particular moment or particular people, right? This is from that wrong episode, we extract that wrong information, right? Wrong information which stick with us, and we are obsessed. Always comes back in our mind the effect of that wrong moment. So the wrong moment comes in our mind through the information that was extracted in that moment. So always our head, our living, is loaded with the pressure, with the guilt, or unsatisfaction, or bad and heavy thinking.